I normally start with the fan. I forgot to do it, but I've been recording so much Drag Race recently, and it makes a lot more sense with Drag Race, but whatever. Life's a mess. What else is new? Welcome to The Cup, the currently unnamed podcast where we put the tea in reality, and you can always come to us first to quench your thirst. I'm Logan Murphy, a Say Something Gay. I'm here with a lot more coffee because Lord knows I need it.
I'm Stark, your wannabe German living in Germany. I'm drinking water.
I also.
And that's it.
Water's a given for me at any given point, but we are finally back talking about Survivor SA. Oh boy,
it's about time.
It's about fucking time. Oh god, life has been difficult. Our whole team has been going through it in one way or another. But we finally made it. We're going to be talking about the last two episodes before Merge, even though at the time that we're recording, the first week of Merge has already ended.
Four jury members have already been determined. We're not talking about that today.
We're not talking about that today. We have to talk about an icon. That's all, really. So yes, we're going to talk about episodes 11 and 12. It's the last two episodes before Merge happens. A lot happens, and yet also nothing happens.
Yeah, the twist was the big thing, but I think the twist was poorly executed. But I guess we'll get there.
Yeah. We'll get there pretty quickly
quick
because we start episode 11. The intro to this episode is a lot of the same that we've known before. Obviously, we just lost icon, legend, star, and confessional queen Teresa. I am still reeling from that elimination personally.
I'm trying to block it out. I'm trying to pretend she's still there.
Right. I'm trying to forget that like Shona was eliminated, that Pinty was eliminated, Teresa was eliminated. They were all eliminated back to back to back. But it's fine. We're not thinking about it. And we get a lot of what we already know. Felix, shocker, he's at the bottom. Shocker, he thinks Tony and Tejan are lying to him. What? No way. Dino and Phil, still in a shit position. Shocker. Dante, shocker, still wants to target Dino.
Yeah, Dino has the underdog story of the season. Like every episode, it seems like they're like, we're taking Dino out, right? Dino's this
Dino. 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 Are we doing Dino? Dino. Yep. Okay. Cool. Dino. Yep. Goes to vote for Killarney. Like what? Goes to vote for Teresa. Yeah. Like what? Like. I think it also helps that Dino's tribe has won immunity at very specific strategic times because I think otherwise he would have already gone home.
Yeah. The whispering to Teresa, like I'm going home if we lose this, like, and then being able to win that, like that was big. Yeah. But yeah, so like we get through that night pretty quick, and it seems like we get to the immunity challenge like pretty quickly into the episode.
Quickly. Yeah, I thought it was reward at first.
I did too. Because
you see the individual perches, and I'm like, oh, cute! It's going to be like a reward, whatever. No, it's just immunity.
Yeah,
it's just immunity.
But it's a twist on immunity because there's two people or like somebody's safe, right, from the losing tribe. Am I making that up? Nope, I'm making that up. Your look says I'm making that up. I'm making that up. Just kidding, listeners and viewers.
So the twist is, the challenge itself, stand on a perch in the water with a ball above your head for as long as you can. Simple enough. Cool. The twist is that both tribes will be going to tribal council. Everybody has a vote, but you can only vote out someone from the losing tribe.
And nobody on the losing tribe has immunity. I don't know where that came from.
No, none of them have immunity. Everyone on the winning tribe, they have immunity.
Definitely safe.
Because that's how Survivor works. I don't know. I didn't love this twist.
I think this twist could have been great. Yes. I think so. So the challenge plays out, and we have our winner, right? So the Masu tribe is the winner. Yeah. And it started off with like, you can have the ball on your head, which I thought like right out of the gate was weird to me. Like just put them in pain, just like make it have to be up there.
Sure,
and
yeah.
So, but then they transition into it has to be above your head, and like people are dropping, people are holding on, but Masu eventually like pulls it out, and we have people, the 3 Masu at the end, right?
Yeah.
And then 2 people just jump and give the Outpost. That's what it was. It wasn't individual immunity.
So the last
one person going to the Outpost.
So the last person to survive from both tribes goes to the Outpost. The whole final 5 of the challenge was kind of a weird scenario. So it ends up being Taejon, Tony, and Steffi for Masu, and it's Dino and Phil for Yontao.
Yeah.
And Tony and like Taejon to an extent and Phil to an extent are like pressuring Dino to jump off because they want Phil to go to the Outpost.
I think it was like all's fair in like Love and Survivor, right? Like Dino has already gone, so they are saying like, you jump so that Phil can have a shot.
But also, this is a tribal immunity challenge.
Yeah.
Do we think Dino would have lasted longer than Phil did? I personally think he would have.
I think so, yeah.
I still think Masu wins. But because I think Steffi would have been up there forever.
Yeah.
But I think it would have been a much closer challenge.
Yes.
Than what it ended up being.
Yeah. So we have our winner, and then they go back to their own tribe camps.
Well, before we do that.
Okay.
So there's a bit of conversation of the people that like are out of the challenge, specifically Dante and Felix.
Okay.
They haven't had the opportunity to really talk all that much. They're like, who are we targeting? Dante, make sure to tell Felix that Tony is a, quote, disease. His words, not mine. And then, so we also get, the challenge is over, Masu has won, and Marion is like, you know what? My tribe didn't win. Let me pull out this diplomatic immunity. And I'm going to swap over to Masu for this one vote. And I'm going to be safe. And I'm like, thankfully, diplomatic immunity was used this season because it never got used on Immunity Island. But yeah, so Marion then becomes a member of Masu again. Marion is now safe. I thought that was a logical decision.
Yeah, so I was thinking that like maybe there's a chance that she pulls somebody from the like complete package to her tribe to vote with her.
Well, it would have been Steffi. Like Steffi was the only option to pull.
Oh yeah. But I thought that might be an option. But obviously that doesn't like ensure that she's safe. So yeah, it does make sense. I think it was used. I was under the impression that it could only be at tribal council, And so I was expecting that it was going to get played at Tribal Council. And then, so I was like very surprised that she used it. Not that she used it, but when she used it. But yeah.
Well, and
it was a smart move.
She had said for a couple challenges now at this point that, like, if Yontao, and this one specifically, Marion was saying if Yontao had won immunity, she would have pulled Steffi over. And so Steffi would have been safe, and then it would have been the 4 Masu up for the vote. But now we go back to camps.
So that's where I think this twist could have been great. I think if you send everybody back to the same camp, it really allows for that like dynamic like strategy, that like having those actual conversations. It is a little close to the like Survivor 41 42 like pre-merge, like you made the merge but you haven't made the merge type thing where everybody's at the same camp but only half of you are eligible to be voted out. But I think that if you're going to do something like this, it just makes sense to let everybody talk to everybody and let everybody campaign for everybody's votes. Because what's happening in this, we have 2 different tribes with 2 different plans theoretically, and then you show up and like maybe it's a live tribal council, maybe it's not, maybe people just go with what their plan is, maybe like, and like I can see why that could be interesting. I just don't think that it was interesting in this case.
Yeah, because what we end up with is we get like 4 or 5 different plans happening. The gist of it is like there's a group that everything seems to be revolving around a group that Tony is spearheading and the Breakfast Club. And there's a little bit of overlap in what's happening, but there's this group that Tony's spearheading, and they want to like split the votes between Meryl and Dante. But then the Breakfast Club group on both sides is kind of conflicted because they want to try to vote out Dino or Phil, but they know that Dino has something. They're thinking Phil has something, but in reality, I don't think Phil had an advantage at this point. I don't remember, y'all. It was a week and a half.
I don't think that he. I don't think that. I don't think that he. I don't think that he did. And people thought that he might come back from the Outpost with an advantage. But that wasn't
we didn't even
what
say.
happened.
So Phil and Steffi, Phil and Tony are the people that go to the Outpost. But we'll talk about the Outpost in a second. But because what ends up happening, the result of this entire situation is that like through lies and like perception is reality, the person that gets voted out essentially gets like fake Serene in a way. And we'll talk about who that person is. But that's essentially like the vibe that I ended up getting, because everybody else on the tribe either had an actual advantage, had something that was perceived to be an advantage, or people thought they would have had an advantage. And so it's just it's a whole lot of mess.
Do you want to talk about the Outpost?
Yeah, we could talk about the Outpost. So Phil and Tony go to the Outpost, and the twist is that if they can predict who is voted out, they both receive half of an idol. That, like, we've seen the half idol twist before on all the franchises, so this is not something new. I didn't understand why we were doing a half idol twist now.
I think it's because theoretically both of them have made the merge. I think that there's a good argument to be made that it makes sense that Phil, who is vulnerable, theoretically comes back with something that could help him be safe. And so it is less probable that Phil is voted out on this vote. Tony is safe. Tony has made the merge. But she doesn't know yet. But like from a production standpoint, these two people have a high likelihood of being in the merge episodes. So there's a chance that you're forcing two people who are potentially from opposite tribes, like original, like starting tribes, going into the merge, being forced to work together because they have this shared idol. And I think if you are banking on both of those people being one from post-merge, one from pre-merge, you're trying to break up any sort of like post-merge alliance, pre-merge alliance, like original starting tribes that have been established. So like I understand why it was there, but I don't understand why they went with the name that they went with.
Well, so this is slightly being informed by the following episode, like the Monday of Merge, but it sounds like they both put in a different name.
Did they?
I don't know if I'm just confusing it. So the name that
I think they voted for somebody different at Tribal.
Well, yeah, they did. But
I believe that they voted for the same person. They had said that they were going to vote. Yeah.
So they decide they want to try to put it on Shane.
Shane, yeah.
I had thought, and this is probably just me getting everything mixed up at this point, I had thought that Tony had said at the Outpost that she was going to put in her vote for Meryl. And I don't know if that's me thinking that she was putting in a vote for Meryl at the Outpost when she instead said she was going to put in a vote for Meryl at Tribal. So I'm probably confused.
I believe that they agreed that they were going to vote for Shane. And
to
then
get the
at least, yes. And then at least Tony went back to camp and was trying to push the Shane agenda. But everybody kind of was like, no, we're not going to do that.
Yeah.
But we get to the end of this episode right after the Outpost, right? Is there anything that we haven't touched on up until like the very, very last thing that happens in that episode?
Not really anything that we can't talk about in reference to the next episode because everything kind of blends together. So
okay, perfect. Last thing that happens in this episode, Shane finds a string in the sand.
Well, and I was like, I feel like this was so familiar, and turns out it was. But I was like,
how were you on this beach for what day are we on? 15,
this was 18.
16?
I think this was 18
days, and she was the first person to find this string in the sand that is not even like buried beneath the sand, but literally just a red string on top of the sand.
I feel like at this point, production was like, "Hey Shane, you should walk towards the tribe flag."
Yeah. I do feel like it was very, very like production like set up. It didn't. Yeah. So moving into the next episode, episode 12, Shane finds the diplomatic immunity, which is the same one that Marion just played. But I kind of don't, because he doesn't play it, right?
Well, he can't. So the terms of diplomatic immunity. So the terms of diplomatic immunity that we come to understand, is that the first person to play it is the person that gets to use it. So now Shane has essentially done all of this digging and finding for absolutely nothing tangible in the game.
I really have to.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, but he decides he's going to use it to his advantage because it's in a pouch very similar to the one that the immunity idols come in. That was my point with that.
Yeah, and part of me is like, I don't even know why production bothered including it, except for a cliffhanger suspense in the middle, like at the end of a Wednesday episode going into Thursday.
He's getting targeted. Did he find an idol? No.
Yeah, it's very like just cliffhangery, but like literally nothing comes of it. Because yeah, it was just like I don't understand what the point of this was. But he finds the diplomatic immunity, finds out he can't play it, like is so excited and then immediately distraught. Then we have other advantages that people are talking about, right? Like Meryl is talking about potentially using her tribal pass.
Yeah.
Which would have been very interesting for her to use, knowing that at the end of the episode they announced the merge and she is not there.
Could you imagine if everyone if she's fully at the Yontao beach and then everyone comes back and she's like, what did I miss? Like, I feel like they probably would have waited to do the merge announcement in that case, but had the buffs on hand just in case.
Yeah, that would have been so funny. I would have laughed so hard.
Yeah, so at this point, presumably, as far as the Yontao people are concerned, Meryl has the Tribal Council pass. Shane has the expired
diplomatic immunity.
Dante has an expired idol.
Yeah, that he never sent to the other tribe.
He never sent to the other. Has the real
valid idol.
Yep. Phil presumably has something, even though he doesn't.
Yeah.
And then there's Palisa.
Yep.
And we'll talk about Palisa. But she, speaking of, she has finally decided, you know what? We're 18 days in. I'm going to pledge my allegiance to an alliance. And I'm like, oh, honey.
You're very behind in this.
Honestly,
I do like.
Go ahead.
I do like that she was willing to like get with Dino and Phil and like work with like a cross tribal line, because I think that she sees that she is not like really tied in with the Dante Meryl like group.
That group is not going to do anything for her. They're not going to value her in the way that potentially Dino and Phil would.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But yeah, so they come back from Outpost. Tony's like talking about what happened. Killarney immediately in confessional is like, so I've picked up on Tony's body language, and when she's lying, she exaggerates she exaggerates everything. She laughs. Her pitch is higher, so I know she's lying.
Just calls it straight out.
I have to say, I'm so happy. Even though she is kind of the GOAT at this point, I am loving Killarney, especially in confessional.
Yes. Yeah, she has really, I think, taken over of the like the great confessionals since Triso is gone.
Yeah, it was early on. It was like PK was getting a lot of them. Teresa was like the person. Palesa bringing in the knowledge and confessionals, and now we're seeing Killarney kind of picking it up. Dino picking it up as well to an extent, kind of being the person that producers are going to for confessionals. Phil as well, giving great confessionals.
Yeah, like where did Phil, like I'm really happy that like Phil and Felix got the like advantage where they got to show up on day 15 and like just start playing the game, because like They were nowhere to be found.
Literally the first 2 weeks, I remember us talking, and then I was like, oh, Phil finally has a confessional. Like, yep. But, the interesting thing, I feel very similarly about the way that Phil and Felix, to an extent, have been edited, where like they weren't really relevant in the first little bit of the game, and now they're coming into their own. I feel very similarly about them in this season that I did with Nicole on Immunity Island.
I was gonna say Erica as well,
and I would say Erica as well. I would say also, I don't remember much of the season, but I would say Tommy from Island of the Idols as well. Someone that wasn't very relevant in the start, but gained momentum as the season went on.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
so it's Phil or Felix our winner then? That's the question.
At this point, I think Phil has a better shot than Felix.
I do too. I agree.
I'm really because I didn't love Phil on Champions. I'm going to be honest. I didn't love the way he came across. He wasn't in the game for that long, and he didn't get a lot of screen time. So, like, whatever. But I'm really liking Phil in this season.
I'm liking Phil in the last, 2 weeks. Because the first few weeks, we saw nothing. And so I'm liking that he really is now starting to have more of a presence, more of a strategic presence, working closely with Dino and to an extension now Plesa, because the three of them are kind of we're going to work together. We need to figure something out because we're all of the pecking order.
Yeah, so this is also where we see kind of this counter plan to the plan forming, where Meryl is talking about wanting to weaken Dante going into Merge. So she decides, as kind of a last resort, because there's really no other option, she's going to start trying to shift the target onto Palesa, not knowing that Palesa wants to take out Dante and is only getting close to him to get information. This whole thing frustrated me. I was like, Meryl, have a conversation with Palesa!
But even then, Palesa probably wouldn't have said anything to Meryl, because Meryl is also close with Dante, although Meryl is actively working against Dante. It's funny that both of them are doing the exact same thing, working against Dante, and both of them think that the other person is the close one to them.
I just wanted them both to have a conversation.
I know.
Anyway.
So Dante's a real threat, right? You think so too. What are the odds? Do you think we should do something about this?
So then there's this kind of shift where Meryl is really pushing this agenda. So now we see Steffi, Marion, and Felix talk about potentially putting votes on Palesa. Mm-hmm. We get a quick little anecdote where Shane tells Phil about his idol, and Phil is just like, no. Not believing this. I love that the whole season has just been Dino and Phil getting information, and whether it's true or not, they're just not believing anything that anybody is saying.
Yeah.
Mostly
Phil. Phil is
mostly Phil, yeah.
Yeah, Phil is great at receiving information. He's like, I don't believe anything this guy is telling me, because it was Felix at one point, right? And now it's Shane. It's so funny.
The fun part, too, is most of the information that they've received throughout the season has been true.
I know.
And they don't believe it. And I'm just like, oh, God, this is... and then we're going...
They're always...
Yeah. And we're going into Tribal, and everyone has a pouch. Everybody, production, camera crew, Nico has a pouch. Everybody's got a pouch.
Yeah.
Pouches, you get a pouch, you get a pouch, you get a pouch.
At one point, isn't it Shane that takes his pouch and puts it on the ground in front of him and is like, I'm not opening it, but I have a pouch.
Yeah, let's dive into tribal, because Shane literally is like, well, I have a pouch, so am I going to reveal what's in this pouch? No. I'm like, okay, Shane. Go off, Shane. My question is, where is Shona's fake idol?
I'm praying that
it's still there.
Oh yeah. I would hope that it is still there, because Dino apparently knows about this idol.
And I think Dino and Phil are the only ones that do.
Yeah. Presumably. And well, I don't think it was said on the show, but I believe that Dino knows where the idol is. I don't know if Phil knows that. I'm highly confident that Dino knew when this game was happening, where the idol was hidden. So I'm kind of hoping that like it will still make an appearance. Although I don't know how effective it will be, because the idol was made before any idols were played. So Shona doesn't know what it looks like, and Shona didn't have a pouch to put it in. So I don't think that I do think that like if Dino does know about it, there wouldn't be much of a reason to pull it out, unless he was going to pull it out and make it into some other advantage that was not an immunity idol.
Yeah.
Like this is a vote necklace where you get one vote cast on you, whoever's wearing it, and Dino gets to give it to this person. So this person thinks they have a vote against them already. Something like that, maybe. But it could just never make an appearance because it doesn't look like an idol for this season.
I hope if Dino makes Final Tribal, he's like, and I had access to a fake idol the whole time, and just pulls it during Final Tribal.
Yeah.
I would love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so this tribal is a lot.
So the thing that I'm most annoyed about with this tribal, because like Nico's sitting there, he's asking the questions, right? And then at one point he just actively invites everybody to scramble, like mid-tribal. It's not a live tribal because the players wanted it to be, or the players made it be. Nico was like, so just talk amongst yourselves for a little bit if you don't mind.
Y'all are already doing it, so just do it. Like,
yeah, but it's like, if you were going to do that, why did you not just send them to the same camp? And it's like I think they were probably like, from a production standpoint, trying to make it seem like it was this big exciting tribal council, but because of the perceived advantages that were all floating around, I just don't think that it was what they had wanted it to be. So, but why did you think that it was a lot?
Because like we're seeing these like there's like 4 or 5 different plans. There's like a split on Meryl and Shane. No, let's put all the votes on Shane. No, let's try to vote out Palesa. No, should we still maybe try to put some votes on Dino or Phil just in case? Like, it's just like, and then literally all of that goes to shit because Meryl just goes to every single person and is like, vote Palesa, vote Palesa. Palesa? Are we voting Palesa? Palesa. Vote Palesa. And it's like, I understand that she's scrambling because she was in a very vulnerable position.
But was she, though? She had the pass.
Yes and no. Yes and no. I don't think she would have wanted to play the pass until after merge. Because she has it until Final 6. And I think there's a moment where she's going to play it and it's going to be necessary for her. But she says in confessional, pretty much it's her or Palesa at this point because Marion used the diplomatic immunity.
Yeah.
So, like, I understand the scrambling. The difficulty I have and what I'm frustrated about is that all of these other plans seemingly fold immediately.
Yeah.
As soon as someone definitively says a target and a name and spreads it at tribal.
Yeah.
And, like, we've seen this in games that we've played before where you have all of these big grand plans, and then somebody comes in last minute and says, vote Stark. Vote Stark. Are we voting Stark? Vote Stark. And that's what happens. I've literally seen it happen to Stark. So that's why I'm like, I've seen this happen.
It's very fun to do that to me specifically. People enjoy that for some reason.
It's unfortunate. But yeah, it was just like, it was so funny how quickly, Tony specifically, it was funny to me how quickly Tony folded. Mind you, she still went along with the plan, but she kind of just started to tell everybody, oh, you're voting Palesa? I'm going to put a vote on Meryl. But, like, vote Palesa. And it's like...
Yeah, I was really surprised that... And maybe it's just because, like, in the game, you don't know who to trust. Like, paranoia is running rampant. Like, Phil and Dino were just very willing to... be like, okay, this person that we had, we're in the minority, but this person that is seemingly in the majority wants to work with us. Like, that's fine. We don't need that number then, I guess. Like, so surprisingly,
I mean, am I a little bit more frustrated that Go ahead, sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna spoil the vote. I was gonna say, like, surprisingly to nobody, like, at this point, plus it is voted out. Like, Tony for some reason still votes for Meryl, like actively choosing to vote against the majority. Isn't even willing to throw a vote on Shane. Like, it was the person that, like, her and Phil had talked about.
I think her original idea from the original plan, her vote was going to be on Meryl regardless.
Yeah.
So I get it to an extent in case someone plays something on Palesa. And then it's not like one of her direct allies going.
And that makes sense. But yeah, like, the vote was not great for me as a viewer. I was kind of annoyed about it.
If only we had an 11-person jury, and then Teresa and Palesa would be on jury, and I'd be fine.
I know, right?
And instead, that's not the case, and I'm sad about it.
But it is revealed that we have the merge. Buffs are passed out at Tribal. Which I don't think it's ever happened in any franchise.
I don't think
before. So
I don't remember it. So.
I don't either. So this is the first. Like, they all throw their buffs in the fire.
At least the English-speaking Survivor franchises. I can't speak for any other ones, but but yeah, we've made merge. Palesa being the last pre-merger doesn't feel correct, but it feels like a lovely, like, rounding out of the pre-merge. Honest to God, if this was not a dual tribal, I think Palesa survives.
Yeah, I think
they split on Dino and Phil, and I think Phil goes.
You don't think Dino, Phil, and Palesa vote for somebody like a Shane or a Dante?
That could also happen. It kind of depends on where Palesa is in that moment, knowing that not everybody is going to tribal. But I think we either see Phil or we see, I think Phil or Shane, I think is the person we see go here instead of Palesa.
Probably.
But I'm sad. Queen Palesa supremacy.
Yeah, I am excited that Phil, who is making a resurgence in this season, Dino, Clarny, and Felix. See, same thing. Felix, who also is making some sort of a resurgence. So it's the four of them who have made the merge, who were on the pre-merge part of this season. Yeah. So, like, congratulations to the four of them. That's very exciting.
I wish there had been more pre-mergers, but
I kind of do too.
I wish Teresa was there, but
yeah, I would have really, really liked to see her game specifically, like her social game, shine in the individual portion of this game.
I agree. Plus, the fact that we had 3 Black women eliminated back to back to back just doesn't sit right with me. And
yeah.
I know it's not because of that, but is it? And 3 of my favorites from this season as well. Like, that's also just like. This week was a rough week, clearly. I had to take an entire week and a half to talk about Palisa getting eliminated. But
the next episode, I think, will be a little easier to swallow.
Just a little bit. But we will be back at some point in the future. I don't know. At this point, we're doing our best to catch up. We're going to try to be caught up by the end of next week. So subscribe, like, and share for all of our content. And yeah, bye. Ooh, new outro. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Palisa Supremacy.